Okay, members of the press, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for coming. Apologies for being late. There's some housekeeping matters which we needed to address. But Karibu to KANU headquarters. The purpose of this press conference is to let the Kenyans and especially the people of Kericho know exactly KANU's position to what transpired on March 7th, the by-election. So experts will be letting you and telling you exactly what happened. But for me, specifically as the chair, is to thank the voters and the people of Kericho County for a very warm welcome, support, and encouragement that they gave us during the campaign rallies and the campaign times there. We were extremely humbled by the massive support that they showed us and the massive goodwill that was bestowed upon ourselves. What transpired, unfortunately, was a total farce, mockery of the democratic process, where it reached a situation where the IEBC was completely compromised, and what emerged was not a true picture or a true reflection of the wishes of the great people of Kericho County. So I'm not going to dwell into that. I'll let others say that. Mine is just to thank profusely the people of Kericho and to tell them that we've got a program coming up in the next 10 days or so when we'll be going now to Kericho with the whole team to thank them for what they did and to let them know that in spite of what happened, we are still together and we appreciate their support and their commitment. The other members who are with us and their constituencies, they're with us in spirit. But unfortunately, they've been caught up with some constituency matters, but they are together with us and will be with us when we go back to Kericho. To the KANU supporters all over the Republic, it's not to be disheartened, and one should not be, because victory was yours. But we are now emboldened, we are now ready to face the next task. We are now going to prepare ourselves, and I urge you to absolutely be ready, be vigilant, to be ready for the 2017 national general elections. We don't have much time, but we have the people with us. KANU will field candidates in the Rift Valley and all over in every single sector. So to our supporters, again, thank you. To our supporters of Kericho, thank you. To the supporters of the Republic and the diaspora, thank you for the support. Thank you for all that you did for us, whether it was moral, material, and spiritual praise that you gave us. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we are humbled in what you did. We had been given at a 1%, and from 1% to 40, I think they deserve a pat on their backs, and yet it's a cooked 40, so to speak, in what they did. So I'll leave it there, and thank you again, members of the Fourth Estate, for coming on a Sunday when I think usually people are with their families. I thank you very much, and now I'll leave it to the Secretary General to take it up from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Do I move these things or? Huh?
So, please. Okay.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mine is to read this statement, which was compiled by the team, the campaign team, some of who are with us, some who remain behind in Kericho. And the statement I'm reading is a statement on the verdict of the just concluded by-election in Kericho County. Thank you very much. So I'll read. On March 7th, 2016, the people of Kericho came out to exercise their democratic right of electing their senator. However, contrary to their expectations and to the dismay of the entire country, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, deliberately abdicated its duty and failed to oversee the exercise to ensure it was free, fair, and transparent, as is required by the Constitution of Kenya and the Elections Act. We have since established on expert authority that the Kericho by-elections results were manipulated to favor the JAP candidate against his KANU opponent. The most incriminating evidence that points to manipulation of results is a mathematical formula which we have cracked with the help of our statisticians who have been studying the pattern of results as they were being transmitted live. A geometric progression formula was used by JAP to generate data through a computer program so that at any given time during the tallying exercise, the JAP candidates' votes were constantly double those of our KANU candidates. In essence, what those who manipulated the results did amounted to a controlled experiment such that for every genuine vote that the KANU candidate received, the manipulation system awarded the JAP candidate 1.5 votes. Cumulatively, the thousands of half votes that the system awarded the JAP candidate would be added up to make a round figure of full votes, thus bringing about the 358,000 votes that the JAP candidate was announced to have received and declared the winner. Now, all of us know that there are no half votes in real life, but this is only possible in a computer-aided data generation through a geometric progression and sequencing. The table that we have in this statement, which I believe you will also be allowed to interrogate using your own experts in your own media houses, statisticians if you have, will help in arriving at the conclusion that we have. And furthermore, we have one of us here who we are allowed to sit with the experts. So for questions relating to this particular table, we will receive, but we also allow you to use your own expert to interrogate. So the table below, generated from live transmission on TV stations, gives a clear picture of the way the formula was applied to ensure the Jubilee candidate won the election by a predetermined margin. This table indicates from the word go, from 6:17 p.m. when the first transmission was aired live, to 10:13 p.m. when the last transmission and the conclusive verdict was given on the Kericho vote. So that table will take you through where the alleged candidate Aaron Cheruyot and our candidate Paul Sang and the polling centers that were transmitted right from 6:17 p.m. And we have what we call variance and ratios, which will be explained further by one of us who sat with the experts. The import of this formula is that certain amount of votes fairly generated by the KANU candidate were migrated through the formula to the JAP candidate, thereby giving him an overwhelming numbers against the KANU candidate in an obviously fraudulent manner. In our scrutiny, we observed that most of the Form 35A given to some agents at the polling center were pre-filled by the election officials before being distributed to the respective polling centers. This is confirmed by the fact that there are glaring similarities of the handwritings in this Form 35A, which we were able to lump together. This was also confirmed by a handwriting expert that we had employed to look at the forms that we managed to get. We noted that the results transmitted by IEBC did not indicate the respective polling stations, as is the norm. Kenyans were shocked to see tallied and lumped up results being transmitted without indicating which polling stations they were coming from. The simple explanation to this is that those results were not coming from the real polling stations in Kericho, but were coming from a command center far away from Kericho. The claim by IEBC that the transmission system failed because of poor internet connectivity is unacceptable, because taxpayers' money was allocated to IEBC for the exercise to be done effectively. Enough taxpayers' money was allocated. We are also baffled by the speed at which the tallying exercise was carried out, in which more than 400 polling centers had already been relayed by 7:30 p.m. 400. And this is a county. We have an issue of internet here. We have an issue of the connectivity at that particular, but by 7, and keep in mind that polling stations are closed at 5, but by 7 we had 400. In previous by-elections such as Makueni, Bungoma, Homa Bay, results were known the following day after voters had gone to their polls. In this regard, it was a monumental contradiction on the part of IEBC that on one hand the internet connectivity was poor and therefore the process was slow, but on the other hand 100% of the transmission exercise had been completed, and I mean 100%. 400 by 7, by 10, 100% had been completed by 10 p.m. For those fundamental reasons, we as KANU, our campaign team, declare the Kericho by-election was rigged and IEBC was totally complicit to save face for some senior politician in the region. From our audited and expert analysis, the KANU candidate Paul Sang garnered 126,493 against Aaron Chiruyot of JAP, who got 38,162. The rest of the candidates' combined vote was 2,510. Therefore, Kericho County has 2 senators. One, a numeric system generated senator in the name of Aaron Chiruyot, and the People's Senator Paul Sang. That notwithstanding, we wish to thank the people of Kericho for their warm welcome, support, and encouragement during the entire period of our campaigns. We particularly note that at every political rally that we attended, people turned out in their thousands out of their own free will. We salute them for embracing the spirit of democracy and showing the desire to listen to the alternative voice. We are proud that you elected Paul Sang. Thank you very much.
So we'll leave the experts so they can.
Do you have any questions? I can't.
Loud a bit.
Yeah, we do have, especially the ones that we lumped together, where we believe it was written by a single pen, by a single hand, single hand, with one pen, signed by one person. We have them here with us in our offices. It's a big stack, considering it's a county election. We have, and even the discrepancies that we have. But for those of you who will have time and want to look at them, we can avail them to you. First and foremost, here we are complaining about an election that we feel was unfairly conducted by IEBC. Secondly, we have all witnessed the judiciary, the mess in the judiciary. And going by what has happened, we do not believe that fairness can be gotten if the two institutions that are supposed to, we are supposed to run to for justice, are the ones we are accusing. So for now, we are keeping our options open. We are consulting with our lawyers to see the way forward. But based on that, we are not in the, we're leaving it open. Let's just call it that way. Yeah. I think there is a process before we arrive at saying up to what point are we going to feel. We're leaving all our options open because there is a delicate system that we have in our constitution, KANU, that will allow us to decide who amongst those who will be wanting to aspire for the presidency will give or hand their names in. Up to that point, we're still months away before we decide. But all in all, we know we will be well represented in all positions come 2017.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
May I? Can I move? Eh? Oh, okay.
Maybe additionally, I want to say IEBC was very hostile to us right from the day we were having our last rally in Kericho. They wanted to push us out of that field when we had all the necessary documents to occupy that field on that day. Secondly, IEBC on the polling day locked out our agents in various polling stations. Most of them were allowed in after 10 o'clock. And we believe in the interim period, some mischief must have been done by IEBC because this was a deliberate exercise to ensure that this election is stolen. And finally, of course, I want to thank the people of Kericho County for showing confidence in me. And as I sit here, I would like them to know that I'm their choice. And I'll work with them even outside the Senate itself. I'll be available to serve them in always possible, with the support, of course, of the party. I also want to thank the party for the support I received. I want to thank all my friends from within and outside the county for the support I received. So we are going back to the people to thank them and to assure them that these people stole the votes, but they did not steal their hearts. Their hearts are still with us. Thank you very much.
Let me just say something about it. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not an expert per se, but I had an opportunity to sit on behalf of this team with the experts who are available for more and further interrogation on the system that we are talking about. But just to bring everyone to speed, when we talk about geometric progression, is basically sequencing of numbers where each term after the first is found by multiplying the previous the previous one by a fixed number, which is not 0, you know, and is normally called the common ratio. So in our table, which I believe you'll be seeing, we have just tried to pick the results as they were streamed in, and you will be able to see. You don't need to be a very serious expert, but at least you need to have gone to school a bit to be able to see what they have tried to do, so that every result that we have from 6:17 p.m. up to the last one at around 10:13 p.m. Seems to show some sequence where we have looked at it both in terms of variance and the ratios. And basically, we could even tell, if we wanted to go up to 11:30 midnight, we can tell how many votes the JAP candidate was going to get by midnight if we allowed the counting to proceed, because already the system that they had put in place. So basically, you will realize that in the first results, the ratio vis-a-vis Paul Sang and Aaron was doing at 1.54, and that's what you hear our Secretary General talking about, some 1.5 votes for every vote that this other gentleman acquired. And at 6:37, when they had counted 115 stations, which you are not told which they were, the ratio had shot to 1.8, and then 1.82, 1.83, 1.87, 1.89, 1.90, all the way to 1.94 at the very last tally. So if you look at the mathematics and the sequencing for a total of all this streaming of results, 0.42 votes in terms of a ratio was stolen from our candidate here and added to the JAP candidate. And the mathematics about that we can prove. Anyone can, if you really want to interrogate further, we are available. Our experts are available for a backup, so that you can be able to see how we arrived at the number of votes that now our SG has talked about. We worked on a reverse formula to return Paul Sang's stolen votes to him and take it away from the beneficiary of the stealing, who is Aaron Cheruiyot. And that's basically how we arrived at our total number of votes, which are 126,493 for Senator Paul Sang here, the People's Senator, and the numeric generated system Senator, my good friend Cheruiyot, had only 38,162. So by and large, that's what we discovered. It nullifies most of the information that IEBC seems to be relying on in the form of Form 35 and 36, because of these results that are being pushed down and trying to comply with what is there. So we invite you maybe at some other opportunity to share with our experts, so that you can be able to understand, so that you can help Kenyans protect their votes in future, especially now that 2017 is around the corner, and we know people are already buying enough material in terms of computers and setting up command centers, so that they can be able to win without necessarily getting the approval by the people. Thank you. Maybe I can say they do not. They do not. Because what our agents gave us, because we have our own tally, is not the same. But they have tried to make it tally with the results that were generated by the computer. So that's the point. We have some of them here, which you can see glaringly, the pen, the signatures, and all that in some stations. And as our SG said, there are quite a number, but I think he has been able to bring a few of them here, but they are available for comparisons purposes.
Thank you very much.
As we uncover more practices,
Well done, well done.
Thank you.
Nick, you're probably the person.